Hey guys, Mr. 3D Hero here. In today's video for my loadout series, I'd like to bring you a loadout I like to call the Sticky Bomber loadout. And this loadout primarily focuses on raining hell using your grapple and your softball as two combinations. Now, I'm primarily going to focus this loadout on Bounty Hunter. And the only reason I chose Bounty Hunter for this main loadout is mainly because the softball reigns supreme in racking up a lot of kills in taking out AI and grunts. And sometimes, in some cases, you will be able to catch a pilot or two out in the midst of chaos. Also add in the fact that you got your tip mines, so these will cause more chaos, and you've got a nice little fun loadout that you can zip around the map with and rain hell from up above. Anyways, let's go into the main loadout. The class I'm going to be using is the grapple. Now, for those that are familiar with grapple, grapple basically allows you to swing from area to area in a quick and speedy momentum. Now, if you're someone that's used to using grapple, then generally this class should be pretty simple, and this loadout in general should be maybe a new edge for you to play with if you're someone that's never used the softball or even any of the other grenadier weapons. If you're new to using the grapple, now will be a great time to go ahead and try it out. There are some videos online from the Titanfall 2 community showing how to use the grapple and maximize its effectiveness, as using the grapple can allow you to basically fly around the map, literally and figuratively. But if you're not the type of person that hasn't used grapple, by all means try and use it, try and learn from my experience from the video, as my experience when using grapple is kind of poor, but at the same time you can learn a thing or two, and then you can learn how to maximize it to make yourself better. Because as you will see in the video, I do mine quite slowly, and that's mainly because of the fact that I'm on console and I'm extremely poor when it comes down to using this class and any other class that requires me to pick up speed. But over the months now, I have improved. So this is kind of an old clip you're seeing now, but when I do get the chance, I will try and upload a newer clip with me using grapple class at a much better pace. Probably now it's going to be the softball. If you have never used a softball, one thing I will tell you now is the softball is kind of hard to use, and you will need to know how to use it effectively if you want to win majority of your fights. This weapon's great for taking out AI, but when it comes down to taking out pilots, if it lands a shot onto a pilot's head, it's an instant kill. And that's kind of a win in your book. The problem is the slow fire rate and the chance of you actually landing your shot is kind of low. So you need to try to get the drop onto people, and this is where your grapple comes in and your parkour skills come in. If you can learn how to keep up your momentum, stay on your toes, stay in the air, and use your grapple effectively, you'll get the drop onto people. But by all means, if you're on the ground and someone has the assault rifle or an SMG and they see you first with the softball, 9 out of 10 times you will not win that 1v1 situation. In that type of situation, your best bet is to switch to your secondary, and your secondary now is going to be the RE45 Auto. Quite an underused weapon, but really great. As his name says, it's an auto pistol. It's quite lethal in 1v1 situations. Not as powerful, but very lethal, and it's quite fast with dropping opponents. I tend to always run with this weapon in case I get into sticky situations. Although in this type of game mode here, it's going to have Titan play, don't worry so much about picking which secondary you want. Ideally, I would say choose a pistol for your loadout, as your Titan will be able to help you later on, and your softball, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but we will have a certain ability that will help you with taking on damage onto other Titans. Not a lot, but is quite useful. The boost now could be tip mine. Tip mines is, I like to say, kind of like a extra bit of explosion to your main loadout. It's going to allow you to wreak even more havoc, and it's great for racking up kills on AI, grunts, and even some unexpected pilots. It's also good against Titans, but don't expect a lot from them, as they won't do a lot of damage against them. Only a bit of a minimum amount of damage. I also recommend that you throw them into areas that you expect enemies will be located. Don't throw it into just a random area that you're in. It doesn't really get you any chances, because they tend to blow up after, I say, a few minutes. I think it's after a minute or so, they just blow up if they don't find your targets. So try and throw it into the area that you know enemies are located, or if you know a pilot, or even a Titan if you have to, is located. A Titan now is going to be Tone. Now, before you do have a go at me, Tone is quite balanced now. She's not as bad as she was, I'll say, pre-patch back in when the game was first released. Now Tone is a bit more better. Tone has had a nerf down to her projectile speed and down to her core, so she's kind of in line with all the other Titans. So don't expect a lot from her. But if you're a Titan Pro and you've used Tone for a very long time, maximize her to her full capabilities and max gen her, then you'll have no problem with using her whatsoever. All these nerfs shouldn't really mean much to you, as she's still quite powerful in the right player's hands. I chose Tone specifically because the whole premise of the loadout is pretty much using explosives. Now, using your softball, using your tip mines, using your Tone, and using your ordnance and satchel kind of put you in line with using all explosions, rockets, grenades, and etc. Plus, Tone is quite versatile. She allows you to shoot out a sonar into an area that might have pilots. She allows you to shoot out more rockets if you land three consecutive hits onto a Titan. And a core ability sends out a barrage of rockets that can be steered to go around an unexpected Titan, or a pilot if you're truly that sadistic. Your ordnance now, I like to say, is your satchel. You can go with your grenades if you like to. Grenades are also versatile and useful, but I chose satchel specifically because of the large blast radius they have, and the fact that it's great for clearing out small enclosed areas that might have pilots enclosed in there, or a group of grunts, or like I said, even Titans. Now this is what I mentioned before, where I said don't worry so much about your secondary, as your ordnance satchel does quite a ton of bit of damage to the Titans. When you throw it onto a Titan, it takes at least, I believe, half or a full bar of health off a Titan, and that's quite a lot. You don't see that amount of damage unless you're using a amped archer or just a normal archer. So using a satchel comes in great handy as well. Although you only get 2 charges at the time, I expect you to use it wisely. But if depending on the map you're playing, if you find a group of Titans in an enclosed area and you throw your satchel charge in there, it does quite a bit of damage, and it also helps your teammates out as well, as it allows them to also fire into them, do even more damage, doom them if they have to, or take out any stragglers on the other team that may try to escape. The pilot kits now, it's going to be fast regeneration. You already know what this is, but for those that don't know, fast regeneration allows you to heal up at a much quicker pace. And your secondary is going to be the low profile. This will basically allow you to kind of not show your jump jet trails. It also allows you to jump onto Titans on their backs and basically take out the battery without them noticing. So in many ways it's kind of like a sneaky, kind of think of it like a ninja perk that allows you to get the catch onto Titans or pilots without them noticing until like maybe after a few minutes before you've jumped off. Anyways, gameplay wise, I would say this loadout is, if you truly want to maximize this loadout, I really recommend that you learn how to parkour and you learn how to keep up momentum. Now, as you can see in the gameplay, I do a terrible job with that. Now, I can explain, I'm not used to using grapple, and I'm still getting used to it, but I have had some good games where I've used grapple effectively, and I've had some bad games where no matter how many times I try to use grapple and the prime weapon softball as well, they don't really mix match at most times. Depending on the type of players you're going up against, sometimes it may play within your favour, other times it may play against you, and sometimes you can't really do much. Sometimes you just accept it and you learn from it. Other times it's just you can't do much whatsoever. You just have to accept it. But on really good days, you'll be able to maximize this loadout with higher expectations. I did have one game at least where I used the grapple and softball effectively, zip around the maps, wall running, parkour, and getting the catch on the people, and I will say I had a lot of fun with it. But the one emphasis I must say when you're using these is that if you can learn how to launch yourself using a grapple and learn how to use a softball in effectively timely manner and try to be as accurate as possible using these two combinations, you will have an extremely and high % chance of winning all your matches. Like I said, go online and look at all the tutorials online for the grapple class. There are a ton of YouTubers that also show you how to use the grapple class effectively, and it will work within your favor if you learn how to use it. Now when it comes down to using the primary, the softball, one thing you have to remember is that you need to remember not to get yourself involved into 1v1 engagements using softball. You are using a grenadier weapon that has a slow fire rate and doesn't have a high percent chance to always land and kill an opponent unless you get the drop onto them. Against grunts and AI, you're perfectly fine. Go ahead. Against pilots, even new pilots, you don't have a very high chance. Especially on console, where if a player has, say, the R101, that is I believe a hit scan weapon with aim assist that's really ridiculous, you against them, you're gonna lose unless, like I said, you get the drop into them. Now, if you can learn how to, stay above ground at all times and get the catch on the people, these players on the ground won't have no chance against you. If you can do that within your own skill and your own knowledge, you will win every 1v1 engagement. But if you're someone new and you're someone that's never used the grapple and softball before, I recommend that you first learn how to maximize both of them, or better off, learn how to use grapple on zone, then learn how to use primary on zone, such as softball. And then once you learn how to use both of them on their own, combine them together, go play a match of maybe attrition, or play a match of bounty hunter, and then have a go. And every time you die, learn from your mistake. Learn how you died, why you died, and what's the best way to avoid it. That's kind of how I learned it. Because if you stay on the ground using this 2 loadout, you're gonna die a lot. You need to learn how to stay in the air at all times. And that's how you try and maximize your win, either way. One thing I also like to mention as well is that don't worry about always trying to win 1v1 fights using your softball. If you don't win, that's fine. But do remember you do have a secondary weapon that you can pull out, the RE45 Auto. This weapon, I only recommend you pull out in close and medium range situations. Don't think that you're going to have a chance at killing someone at long distances, because it's not the Wingman Elite whatsoever. You need to be in a close and medium situation to at least have a chance at killing an opponent using the weapon. And like I said, also make sure that you also maximize your ordnance. Your satchel charges are a lifesaver. They're great with doing damage to Titans, but they're also amazingly great at taking out large groups of enemies. Say for example, you're playing on Eden, and I believe there's a small enclosed area that on Bounty Hunter a lot of grunts tend to spawn in, and a lot of players and enemy players tend to spawn in a fight. If you can wait for the right chance and wait for all the enemy team members to go into the middle section, and you throw a good satchel charge in the middle, not only will you collect a big bounty onto your head, you also take out any other opposing opponents in that area as well. And also, have you also tried using the grapple, flying around the map, and raining satchel charges down below on people? I'll tell you now, it's kind of like some Spider-Man type shit. It's quite amazing. You'll be surprising how fun it can be. And lastly, although many of you already know this, but I must emphasize on this one bit. Have fun with this loadout. This loadout isn't designed to be a sweaty or a GoPro type loadout. This loadout is a fun loadout. This is something for you to maximize your fun factor in the game. Compared to all the other loadouts in the game that kind of either pushes you to be a supporter, a defender, or an attacker player, this is one that's aimed for focusing on being fun. If you're someone that's never used these, like I said before, this is something for you. And it doesn't matter if your team loses, because we don't have no competitive scene on this game. Well, not on the moment that I know of. But if you're someone that's already used this type of loadout before, or has something similar to this, then maybe this might be something completely different. Maybe you'll find some fun in this loadout. Maybe you'll find that this one's better off than your one. And if so, I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear some improvements, or maybe what you would add to it to, like I said, improve it further. Would you change out a certain weapon? Would you change out a certain boost? And my Titan, would you change the Titan to something else? Or is this something kind of like your dream or your ideal loadout? Have a think about that. But anyway, do remember, it's all for fun. Nothing too serious for this game, at least. And if I do upload a serious loadout, you'll know. But this one here, take it with a grain of salt.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then by all means leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more. They will help me out, and they also help me with growing my channel. If you didn't like the content, by all means I understand, then leave a dislike. I'll understand, I'll know where to improve, and I'll know where to further enhance in quality rather than quantity. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I do hope to see you all again soon.